Hey, fellow classmates. I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about the results that I've been finding for my study. I've actually kind of been enjoying the interviewing process. For those of you who may not remember, I'm doing a study on the effects of interdisciplinarity in graphic design and art education. So I was able to interview a few professors who work in graphic design and art, and I've also been able to touch base with some really awesome working professionals in the graphic design field who were able to give me enough time to interview them. I did both Skype interviews and email interviews, and the Skype interviews were the ones that really I feel like I got the most information out of, even though, coding all of that information and dictating the interview really took a long time. I just wish I had had enough time to do Skype interviews with all of my participants, but they didn't all have the availability necessary to do that. So I was able to do email interviews with those people. I had four different variables within my theory, and I will just read those to you really quick. I don't want to go over each individual question with you guys today because that would take a lot longer than 5 to 7 minutes, which is what the time frame is that we've been given. But I'll just kind of quickly go over the different variables within the theory, and I had 3 to 5 questions underneath of each variable. The first one was ideas of openness and receptivity to ideas other than one's own, so the ability and desire to relate well to other people. And these are all variables that I found within Bassov's theory on teamwork. Variable number 2 is attitudes of respect and value for other disciplines. So having a trusting of others due to achieving a self-competency and a self-security. Variable number 3 had to do with attitudes of interdependence and acceptance of a common goal. Such as personal investment, personal needs being made subservient, inclusive decision making, and collaborative working. And variable number 4 had to do with an attitude and willingness to share and take responsibility, so having mutual support, the ability to admit one's own mistakes, and having overlapping roles in teamwork. So I talked about the questions with my participants. And overall, I found kind of an interesting theme. It seemed that the professionals that I spoke with had a higher respect, I guess, for the concept of interdisciplinary students. And I was able to talk to some people who had interviewed both disciplinary and interdisciplinary students coming out of school, having just graduated, looking for a position in graphic design, and that they had positive things to say about interdisciplinary students. So overall, it seemed like the studies showed that there's really a place for both interdisciplinary and disciplinary professionals out there in the graphic design world. I had people really emphasize to me how important teamwork is and how important perspective taking is in the field of graphic design. And they said that interdisciplinary students may have a professional advantage when it comes to being hired and holding positions because they have a broader understanding of different disciplines, maybe not a more perfected understanding like the disciplinary students would have, but just having that broad knowledge can be really helpful in the world of graphic design, according to the professionals that I spoke with. They really emphasized how when you're creating a piece of work, it's very important that you are able to understand what your client needs and where your client is coming from, and that your client could be from any field of business that you may or may not be familiar with, and having a basic knowledge of business and different disciplines can really go a long way when it comes to providing artwork that satisfies your client's needs. And that's really what determines success in the graphic design world, is how well you're able to supply the cater to the needs of your client. So certain of the professors felt that interdisciplinary studies was taking time away from important skill building that graphic design students need. So it's like overall it kind of seemed as if the professors had both a positive and a negative perspective of interdisciplinary work, but it seemed like most of the professionals really felt strongly that interdisciplinary students would have a competitive advantage in the working field. So it was really interesting. And I guess, like I said before, it seems like there's really a place for both disciplinary and interdisciplinary students in the working field. I was glad to have the opportunity to touch base with the professional people who are already working and graduated. Maybe that'll turn into some opportunities for me down the road. But I'm looking forward to going through the rest of the information that I have and more specifically coding everything out. I really need to know exactly what my minimum has to be on interviewees so that I use my time appropriately. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to watching your guys's as well. Alright, have a good day.